Outstanding, outstanding. You know, I always like to ask the alternative question. How many of you woke up this morning? See, my theory is every morning we get to wake up. What? That's a good morning. Am I right? So I just want to know what you came here for. Because I think that you came here to learn how to grow your business. Am I right? I think that you came here to learn how to make some money. Is that right? So you came here to listen to Darnyelle Jervey. And I want to tell you a little bit about Darnyelle Jervey. You know what? Darnyelle's not supposed to be here. I'm serious. She's not supposed to be here because she was born to drug-addicted parents who were not the best at taking care of that little girl. But guess what? She defied the odds. She defied the odds, went on to get her master's in marketing, went on to build a 7-figure business. This woman has it going on. So my question to you is, are you ready to learn something about some sales? Are you ready to learn how to grow your business? You know what they say? They say that when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So are you ready? If you are ready, if you'd get up on your feet, please, in a round of applause for Miss Darnyelle Jervey.
Hallelujah.
Yo, Rakim, what's up? Yo, I'm doing the knowledge, E, man. I'm trying to get paid in full. Well, check this out. Since Norby Walters is our agency, right? True. Carol Lewis is our agent. Word up. Zakia and Falcon.
If you know this song, let's see you move a little bit.
We rolling with Rush, Rush Town Management. So check this out. Since we talking over this deaf beat right here that I put together, I want to hear some of them deaf rhymes. You know what I'm saying? And together, we can get
why
paid
are you
in
sitting
full.
down? Like, you guys get the party started. Why are you on your butt? Get up. We're talking about getting paid in full. Right? Isn't that what we're talking about today? Getting paid in full. Or you can cut it. So how many of you have been thinking of a master plan? You've been trying to figure out how to grow your business, how to make more money doing what you love, right? Jamming on the ones and twos, cut masters on the wheels of steel. Do they still say that? I can say it? Okay, good. How many of you have been trying to figure out how to take your business to the next level? How to make more money, how to get your clients to pay you on time and in full, right? And of those of you who have been thinking of a master plan, who'll be honest with me and tell me that you really just have sweat inside your hand. You haven't been able to figure it out yet. You've been trying to figure it out, but you're struggling with this thing called sales. Who'll be honest? Sales makes you a little nervous, right? No one wants to feel sold to, right? And so it's often challenging when we're working with and talking with clients who already are telling us they don't want to be sold to position ourselves in a way that will make them want to give us a couple of dollars, right? Well, I just want to first, before we even get started, I just want to say thank you. You guys know how to treat a DJ. My initials are DJ, in case you didn't catch that. So, I mean, the red carpet has been rolled out. I mean, we got picked up in a limo, and then I'm in a suite that has Prince's purple rain jacket. It's kind of hot. I love purple. That's like my favorite color. I'm only not wearing purple today because we're talking about getting paid, and I wanted you to see green all up and through the presentation, so I put the green on for you. But I just want to thank you so much for inviting me here, allowing me to come out and to share my 2 cents about what it takes to get paid and more importantly, to get paid in full. Now, how many tweeters do I have? Do I have any tweeters out there? Those of you who love social media and you want to tweet, I'm giving you your first tweet of the day. So you can go ahead and let everyone know that you're with @Darnyelle Jervey, and she's #incredible. And then, of course, I threw the conference hashtag up there so that everybody would know where you were. You know, do you guys realize the significance of using social media to position yourself to get paid in full? And I hope that you're leveraging it. While I'm not necessarily here to talk about that today, That is truly an important part of the process, to keep the party going, to get the party started, and to make sure that people are with you as you go through this process. Now, as we get started, what I want to do is I want to share two very important core tenets and principles about business with you. How many do I want to share? That's just to make sure you're paying attention and that you're not falling asleep, because I heard some of you had a late night. Some of you had one too many, and you rolled in here this morning. So I got to keep you on your toes. The very first one that I want to share with you is something that I learned from Mary Kay Ash. How many of you have heard of Mary Kay Cosmetics? So if you've heard of it, then you know it's not just for old white ladies with big white hair, right? You've probably heard that brown girls who were born in the projects of Wilmington, Delaware could use it too. And so I used the product. I became a sales director, or a beauty consultant, and then a sales director, selling the product, showing people how to build their own Mary Kay Cosmetics businesses. I was in Mary Kay for 7 years, and during my tenure, I helped 500 women start their own business, and I earned 5 career cars. 2 of them were the pink Cadillac. Now, in order to get the pink Cadillac, does anybody know how you get it? $96,000 in 90 days. Do you think I know a little something about sales? If I was able to do that. In my company today, I sent my pink Cadillac back to Mary Kay Cosmetics in 2008 in order to start my own company, Incredible One Enterprises. I had a dream, probably like many of you have a dream. How many of you used to sit behind someone else's desk and work a regular job? And how many of you said, hell no, I got to go? I did the same thing. I couldn't take it anymore. I said, you know what? I have to see if I have what it takes to really live my dream and impact the world the way that I believe I was created to impact the world. And so I made a non-negotiable decision. Everybody say non-negotiable. I made a non-negotiable decision, and you're going to have to make a non-negotiable decision too if you want to get paid in full. And so I decided to leave my job, or leave Mary Kay, and start my own company, Incredible One Enterprises. Today, 7 years later, we are a business optimization consulting firm, and we work with entrepreneurs and business owners just like you, and we help them to grow their businesses. Our clients, everybody hold on to your seat. Like literally, hold on to your seat. Nobody's doing it. Are you guys not listening? Our clients grow their businesses by 50 to 600% in a year or less in working with me. Turn to your neighbor and say, I think she's bad. Not bad meaning bad, but bad meaning good. Oh, sorry. I might be at the wrong party. So I learned a thing or two about sales. I learned a thing or two about building a business. And I get to travel all over the country, all over the world, teaching people how to be able to better position themselves to grow their business. It's not hard. Can I get an amen? It's not hard to really understand how to get your business to where you want to be, unless you don't understand the second tenet that I have to share with you. And the second tenet is it's as honorable to sell as it is to buy. See, many of you struggle with this because when you think about sales, you think about that nasty, icky used car sales guy who follows you all around the dealership and doesn't listen to what you have to say. He's just trying to get you into the biggest gas-guzzling car that he has on the lot. He's not concerned about you. He doesn't care that all your kids just got off to college and you really want to downsize to a 2-seater. He's trying to sell you the big old gas guzzler, right? And as a result of that, it impacts your ability to position your business the correct way. But here's what I need you to know. It is as honorable to sell as it is to buy, because life is a transaction. How many of you have a significant other? Have you ever wanted to go to the movies and you wanted to see one movie and they wanted to see another movie? Right? Now, regardless of which movie you went to see, it's because they sold you or they threatened to keep something from you. Like maybe you wouldn't get any that night if you didn't see their movie, but regardless, they sold you on seeing their movie, right? The best kind of sales. Now, why we can't do that in a client meeting, or at least I don't recommend that you do that in a client meeting, we can learn how to connect with our prospects in such a way that it leads them to seeing you as the only solution. Is there anybody in this room at the Las Vegas DJ show who could get excited about being the only choice when you're talking to a prospective client? No matter what, they're going to buy from you because they see you for what it is that you bring to the table, right? Now, in order to get there, here's what I need you to know. Success in your business demands a posture change. Turn to your neighbor and say, "What's she talking about, Willis?" I'm talking about making a very poignant shift. I just said a few moments ago that it's as honorable to sell as it is to buy, but most business owners struggle with sales because they're thinking about it as a sale. What would happen if you shifted your perspective and you started to think about it as being of service? How would that change for you? If you took the time in an interaction with a potential client who's having an event, maybe it's their first ever event, and they want to set the stage for the experience that they intend to create here on out as they do it annually. And they heard about you through the grapevine. You notice how I'm just like putting these songs in here for you? Just trying to make sure you guys are with me, right? So they heard about you through the grapevine, and they heard that you're the best who ever did it. They heard that you know how to pick the most amazing song at the exact right time. They heard that all about you. And they know that if they are in a conversation with you, you are going to make sure that their event is the best ever. Instead of going into that meeting thinking about, oh gosh, I'm going to have to sell them something, I'm going to strongly suggest that you position yourself to go into that meeting saying, I'm going to serve them. The key to building a business to 7 figures like I've been able to do is about making that shift, making the posture change, and no longer focusing on sell, 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 but instead focusing on serve, serve, serve. It's going to change everything. Somebody's excited about that. And let me bring home for you what's going to make this easier for you to do. Do you guys know who you are? Turn to your neighbor and say, do you know who I am? Say it with attitude. Like, ring your heads like you're a girl from the projects. Do you know who I am? Let me tell y'all who you are. You guys are game changers. The event is not an event without you. It's not an event without you. And that's whether you're just playing the music or you're actually emceeing. Regardless, you move the crowd. It is the songs that you choose, whether you do it with the influence of your client or just because of your intuitive nature to understand music and the fact that music impacts, inspires, and influences an experience. You guys are so good at what you do that you know exactly when to do it in a way that you could have never explained to your potential client that that's what you were going to do. You guys are bad mamma jammas. Even the men. Some of you might even be brick houses. 24, 36, oh, would have went in hand. I thought I might at least get a little jig on that one. But you guys make such an amazing impact in events. And if you're really clear on that, it's going to make it easier for you to get paid in full. It's going to make it easier for you to position yourself. Everybody say position. It's going to make it easier for you to position yourself for them to see you as the only obvious choice. And that's regardless of what it costs. But the only way that's going to happen is if you realize that you deserve to get paid in full for what you bring to the party. Because it's not a party until you get there. Trust me, I know. I had my days where I didn't want to hire a DJ because of the expense, and I just used my iPod and my playlist. Big mistake. When you put it on shuffle, you never know what you're going to get, right? It's like a box of chocolates. It can ruin an event faster than you say, are you coming? If you don't have the right people there. You guys have done the work. You've gone to the Scratch Academy. You've figured out exactly what it is. You got all the software. You have everything you need to ensure that they create an experience that builds memories for a lifetime. Let me tell you what I love about music. Music is everything to me. This morning I got up and I turned on my playlist with my devotions. And I spent a few moments giving thanks and being grateful for this amazing life that I get to live. And then I started to get dressed, to get down here to come looking as cute as I wanted to look. Okay, good. I was hoping. I was like, if nobody says anything, I'm going to be so mad. No. And I put on my theme song. I'm in the shower, and I'm like, I'm just bumping it out. I'm getting ready to come here. When I'm sad, it's My Time to Shine by Kelly Price. When I'm sad, I can think of a song that either makes me sadder or lifts me up. When I'm excited, I can think about a song that I want to be playing at that moment. And who remembers their first time? Do you know what song was playing? Music is everything. You guys have the power in your hands to make the event spectacular. But if you don't recognize that and you don't realize that you deserve to be paid in full, much more than you're charging now, and here's the thing, I don't care what you're charging, you're not charging enough. Where's Curtis? Curtis is teaching, is it today or tomorrow? Tomorrow, Curtis is going to be teaching about how to set your prices. You guys want to make sure you're there for that, because I don't care what you're charging, you're not charging enough. It's going to be very hard for you to experience the lifestyle that you desire if you don't charge more, right? How many of you guys have kids in college, right? So you're going to have to charge more. But in order for all of that to happen, you're going to have to get a mindset shift going on. You're going to have to think like a CEO and not like an entrepreneur or the owner of a side hustle. Anybody a DJ on the side? Put your hands down. You're not a DJ on the side. You're a DJ, period. You move the crowd, period. You create an experience, period. That's who you are. That's what you do. It doesn't matter how much time you do that. The way that you think and you present yourself as a business owner is going to be the key to helping you to demand getting paid in full because you deserve it. It's as much your birthright as it is that you were actually here and being born. And it's very important that you recognize that if you truly want to get paid in full. Now, in order to facilitate this discussion that we're having about getting paid in full, I want to share with you the universal law of business. While I didn't create this law, I think that the significance of it is very important, and I know a room full of DJs in Las Vegas need to know this. The whole point of doing business is not to volunteer. It's not to charge way less than you know because you want to get the job, because I know some of you do that, so you undercut yourself. And then you probably feel sick to your stomach when you have to perform the job for less than you know it's really going to cost to do it, but you have to do it because they gave it to you, right? So the universal law of business says this. The mission, if you choose to accept it, is to get found by a group of people, your ideal clients, I call these people your audience of one, who have the problem that you solve that are ready right now, say right now, to pay for a solution to the problem. Do you guys realize that you solve a problem? Do you talk about the problem that you solve when you're in a conversation with a potential client? Or do you talk about the solution? Because people in pain are actively seeking a painkiller. You ever had a headache? And you cannot find Tylenol, Aleve, Bear. You can't find a baby aspirin to eliminate the headache. Have you ever had this happen to you? Right? People in pain are actively seeking a painkiller. So when a person who is having an event wants it to be the most amazing event ever, and they approach you, it's because they have a problem. But if you don't position yourself as the solver of that problem, not a DJ per se, but the problem solver to create the most amazing event ever for them, you have the potential to be leaving money on the table. Turn to your neighbor and say, ain't nobody got time for that. So we're going to have to figure this thing out, right? So here's the process. This is how business gets done. The very first thing that you have to do is you have to become known. In your city, do they know you as the DJ, right? Have you done the work? Have you created a very compelling message so that they know who you are? So when you're in Walmart, they stop you and say, oh my gosh, DJ Smooth, what's up? I was at your party last night. Man, I was bumping. I don't know if they still say that, but I'm a little outdated. But they're like literally at the Walmart and they're getting their groove on because they're remembering the experience that you created for them. You have to get known. That's the first step. Only once you've created an amazing message and you're known will you be able to get found. And the way we get found is through marketing, right? So I'm talking about online marketing strategies like social media, banner ads if you're into that kind of thing. I'm talking about offline marketing strategies like networking, speaking, those types of things, right? Really using marketing to get found by the people that you want to hire you. Vendor shows, exhibits, those types of things, right? Only after you've become known and you've gotten found will you get paid. Turn to your neighbor and say, duh, right? Sales are how you get paid. Having these conversations consistently with potential clients is how you generate new revenue and bring revenue into your business, right? It's only going to happen then. And then the last part of the process, this is the part that most people forget or they miss. Only after you've gotten known, you've gotten found consistently, and you are getting paid, are you truly running a business. I know, I just hurt somebody's feelings. But the fact of the matter is, if you haven't done this process, you don't really have a business yet. I'm hoping that through the instruction that I'm sharing and some of the other amazing presenters here, you're learning what you need to know to really position yourself to be running a business. And this becomes real when you start standing behind your product no matter what. Have you ever been in a sales conversation with a potential client, you give them the price, they make a crazy face, or they like swallow their tongue because they didn't know it was going to be that much, and you back down and you negotiate. Well, you know, we really only need one turntable. I don't need a microphone. I can just yell really loud. You're trying to figure out how you can cut down the price, right? That's not the answer. You have to stand behind your product no matter what. Don't you remember a few moments ago I told you guys are the game changers? You're the reason it's an event. It's not a party until you show up, literally, right? Because if there's no music, there's no dancing, there's no party. Just making sure you're with me, right? So you've got to stand behind your product no matter what. I'm talking about being confident. How many of you know that confidence is as good as currency? I have literally had people hire me. In fact, I think I'm here. Sid Vanderpool, Sid, wave your hand, say hello to the nice people. He saw me speak in January in California, and I think it was my confidence and maybe a little bit of my crazy, quirky speaking style that made him suggest that I be brought here, right? So you've got to show up confident. You've got to be so bold, so courageous, and so confident without being cocky that they recognize that you are the bee's knees. Or the Bee Gees. And without you, the event just isn't going to happen, right? I literally, in my office, I have a sign that says, I'm the shit, and you need to work with me. Now, I've never actually said that to anyone. But that's just me standing behind my product no matter what. Because, see, when people come into my space, they make more money. They just do. It's what happens. So because I'm fully confident in what I bring to the table, I get to show up in that conversation as an expert. Not as an arrogant business owner, but as an expert who knows exactly what they need to accomplish the goal that they have to solve the problem that they're experiencing right now. And you've got to do the same exact thing. If you don't show up this way, they're going to just choose the other one. And while there are some people out there who believe that being a DJ is a dime a dozen, like anybody could do it, you and I both know anybody can't do it. It's kind of like pole dancing. Anybody ever try that? Listen, I have a new respect for those who dance on a pole. I went to the class, and I was like, oh, this is going to be great. I'll do it for my man. I could not get up the pole. I don't know how I got there, so let me get back on track. These are the types of things that happen sometimes. But you've got to stand behind your product no matter what, being fully confident, knowing that what you bring to the table is exactly what they need. And here's what's very important. You have to charge more than it costs. There's no way you can get ahead. Let me see the hands of the DJs in the room who started a business to break even. Can you smack him in the green Eagles hat? Can you smack him? Nobody started a business to break even. We should have just stayed at our jobs, right? See how excited I got? My voice went up like 3 decibels, right? We started a business in order to send our children to the college of their dreams. Well, that's if you like them. If you don't like them, you might just be like, go to community college. I'm over you, right? We started a business to be able to take exotic vacations with our wife or our husband or our mister or our mistress. I don't know, right? We started our own business to be able to put an addition on our homes and build our DJ studio. Isn't that what we did it for? The only way that's going to happen for you is if you charge more than it costs. Let me paint you a picture of what happens when you don't charge enough. So let's say you have a client who is having a client appreciation event. And as a part of the client appreciation event, they really want to celebrate the success that they've had as a business. And so they want to have music and entertainment. They want an MC. They want DJ. They want video. They want all of this at the event. And they tell you in the initial conversation that they are talking with 3 companies. Do you know sometimes they tell you that just so that you can give them your best price? But how many of you know that your best price is your price? It doesn't get lowered, right? So you get a little nervous when they tell you that 2 other companies are going to be submitting a bid and they're going to be choosing between the 3 of you. And so you want to come to the table with your best offer the very first time so that there's a chance that you might be the one that they choose. And so you buckle and you undercut by like $3,000. I know, doesn't that hurt? Did somebody cry? I feel like I heard a cry in the audience. And then they pick you because you were stupid and you way undercharged. And now you're trying to figure out how you're going to be the videographer, the MC, and cutting on the 1s and 2s because you can't hire your team because you charge too low. And you do your worst job ever. It's so bad that instead of coming up to request you to play songs, they come up to tell you you suck. That's how bad it is. And then, all of a sudden, people in the area start hearing that, man, I wouldn't work with him. I mean, you figure it out for yourself, but if you want my opinion, I would go with the other one. Your business dies because you're not charging enough. Here's what I need you to know. People will pay more than you think for the right product that has been packaged well. Everybody say that. In fact, repeat after me. I am going to learn how to create the right package positioned well. How many of you are coming to my class this afternoon? Not enough hands are up. And can I just be honest? I mean, I have I think 10 more seats, 15 more seats maybe. It's at 1 o'clock. And I'm going to be literally breaking down how to do this and how to create your packages and those types of elements that you really need. If you come, you're going to be leaving with a full-blown plan that all you have to do is go home and implement. So I don't want you to go right now because I have a lot more amazing information to say. But when we break, you're going to want to run, not walk, to get one of those spots. Because Drax tells me once they're gone, they're gone. Now, if you slide me a little something extra, I might see what I can do. But I can't make any promises. So I'm going to recommend that you go handle your business accordingly. So let me prove my point about the fact that people will pay more than you think for the right product positioned well. Anybody get thirsty in the desert? So last night we were out taking a stroll. I walked 16,000 steps yesterday. My calves were like begging me to go somewhere and sit down. So we were walking on the corner of Las Vegas Avenue or Las Vegas Boulevard and Harmon Avenue. There was a nice man with a cooler full of water for $1, right? Who lives in Vegas? So if we go to the movie theater, how much is a bottle of water? $3? What's the sports team here? There is none? Oh, okay. Well, true. I don't feel so bad now. You have a baseball team? The 51s, right? UNLV, right? So we're just going to college basketball. So if we go to the stadium, how much is a bottle of water there? $8, right? Now, let me ask you this. If you're thirsty, are you going to buy the $8 water? Right. Now, you might complain the whole time you're drinking it, right? I can't believe I just paid $8 for this bottle of water. I mean, this is just ridiculous. But we're going to buy it. Well, guess what? The same is true about your clients. If you show up as the only way to quench their thirst, they're going to buy the bottle of water. It's not about the price. When I learned that, my business skyrocketed. I can really attribute our growth in going to $1 million. In fact, I did $1 million in 3 days last year. I mean, was that not exciting or interesting? I mean, I didn't even get an eyebrow raise. Has anybody in here done $1 million in 3 days? I think everybody ought to be clapping then. I'm just saying. Came all the way from Delaware and all. So, where was I going with this? Because y'all done got me all off track. The bottle of water. Be the only way to quit. Oh, okay, got it. Thanks for getting me back on track. This happens sometimes, right? You, too, can be a keynote speaker. So the way it changed for me in realizing that it's not about the price, and when you charge more than it costs, you show up differently. So going back to standing behind your product no matter what, has anybody ever heard the saying, you get what you pay for? And how many of you have bought into the you get what you pay for? I mean, okay, do you guys have Payless here? Okay, so I was born in the projects, and we didn't have a lot of money. Well, we probably did have a lot of money, but my parents were smoking it up. I mean, just keeping it real. You can laugh if you want. I'm over it. I've been to therapy 26 years. I've dealt with my stuff. That's why I can stand on the stage and tell you about it without feeling any kind of way. So we didn't have a lot of money, and I had a little girlfriend who came from a family that was in a much better position. And so my parents took me to Payless, and I got Pro Wings. I don't know if they still sell Pro Wings at Payless. I haven't been there in a very long time because I do run $1 million business. So I can buy, like, other shoes if I like. So, but I had Pro Wings, and my little girlfriend had Nikes. And I didn't like it very much. Now, I don't know if her shoes were any better than my shoes, but the belief, the stigma that you get what you pay for made me feel uncomfortable. And so when you're thinking about and you're working with your clients, I want you to remember that they'll pay more. So back to the story about what happened for me in my business. So prior to last year, we were doing about $500,000 a year. Nothing to sneeze at, right? That's pretty good. We'll buy a lot of Pro Wings. You guys are a tough crowd sometimes. So anyway, we were doing about $500,000, and I was working with a business coach at that time. Yes, I am a business coach and consultant, and I have a business coach. I think if you want to grow, you should work with people who can help you to get to where you desire to be, right? So I'm working with my business coach at the time, and she asked me one question. She said, are you charging enough? And I felt pretty good about my prices. And so I'm like, what do you mean charging enough? Charging enough for what you're doing this for. Does everybody in this room who started a business have a reason why they're doing the business? Right? A reason why that's bigger than you. Right? And so she took me all the way back to my reason why. And I realized I wasn't charging enough. And I was afraid. Can I be honest with you? I was afraid to raise my rates because I thought if I raised my rates, I would lose my clients. Can anybody identify? Right? I was like, they're not going to hire me if I raise my rates. But let me tell you what happened. So I do an event every year similar to this, a 3-day experience up in Delaware. We have businesses come from all over the world, and they get to work with me for 3 days. And during that event, I offer them the opportunity to come into my 12-month coaching and consulting program. Now, I had been working with my team. We raised the rates. I was feeling really, really good in that moment. How many of you have ever made a decision? You were feeling good. You were pumped. You were excited. And then the little devil on your shoulder got to you. You can't charge that. Nobody's going to pay that. Who do you think you are, right? I call that your inner incredible snatcher. So my inner incredible snatcher went crazy. And I went to bed that night and I had a dream. And in my dream, nobody signed up for my program, right? So what do you think I did? I woke up the next morning and I changed the prices on the order form. I sent it back to the printer. Now here's the thing. How many of you believe in a force greater than yourself, right? So for me, I call that God. So I send the revised prices, which were substantially less, to the printer. I get a phone call like 5 minutes later. Darnyelle, I got this document, but I can't print it because the file is corrupt. I was at the deadline. I couldn't, I needed them yesterday because the event was about to happen. So I was forced, big air quotes, to use the higher rates, right? What was I going to do? So I went with it. So I presented the higher rates, and guess what happened? 3 times more people signed up at my higher rates. 3 times more people. I was like, what in the devil? I couldn't believe it. People will pay more than you think, but it'll only happen when you realize it's not about what you're selling. It's not about your services. It's about how you package and position them. That's why I want you to come to my class this afternoon so that you can understand that. In order for this to really work, for you to pull it off, when you're in the sales conversation, you can't show up trying to make a sale. Turn to your neighbor and say, I'm sorry, what did she just say? You can't show up trying to make the sale. The sale is secondary. You have to seek first to understand what it is that they are in need of. And as you're seeking first to understand, you have to get them to paint you a picture. They have to paint you the most ugly picture of what they're experiencing, what the challenge is, and what they're trying to accomplish. They have to lay it all out for you, and you have to be listening. Now, if you're all teed up to, I got to get this money, I got to get this paper, dollar bills, y'all, you're not going to have the right energy to allow that client to feel, that potential client to feel like they're being served by you. They're going to think that you see them as just another number, right? You guys have heard that everybody tunes into their own frequency, WIIFM, right? Have you ever been in a sales conversation with somebody who wasn't on your frequency? You wanted the Supremes. They were playing the Beach Boys, but you didn't get good vibrations? Has that ever happened to you? Right? Well, that has the potential to happen each and every time if you don't seek first to understand. How many of you, when you are working with a potential client, go with a questionnaire, things you need to know about them and what they're wanting before you start talking price? Not enough hands are up. You guys really need to come to my class. Because it's not about saying, okay, to get me to turn on the ones and twos, it's $500. It's about getting a full understanding of everything that they need, because you might be able to add on services to turn that $500 into $2,500, or turn that $2,500 into $5,000 or $50,000, right? It could be possible if you seek first to understand. The way this becomes real is you focus on finding a need and positioning yourself to fill that need. The way that you position yourself to fill the need is by helping them to think through everything, by giving them a little bit of the possibility of what could happen if they chose you, something they didn't consider. And if you're not seeking first to understand, you won't be in a position to add that value into the conversation, because you're counting, instead of counting sheep, you're counting dollar signs, because you're listening to them talk and you're like, man, this is going to be big. You've got to seek first to understand. Once you find the need and you position yourself to fill it, it's going to be like the old Black Sheep song. They could get with this, or they could get with that. They could get with this, or they could get with that. Now, we all know they should get with this being you, because this is where it's at, right? If you focus in on filling a need, then they're not going to want to choose what's behind door number 2 or 3. They're only going to want to choose you and what it is that you bring to the table. The next thing that has to happen is you have to offer to solve their problem. Now, I believe that the invitation is your validation. So if you're standing there in a conversation, you're sitting there in a conversation with them, it's because they see you as being quite capable of helping them to pull off the most amazing event experience ever. That's why you're there. So when you show up with that energy and you stand behind your product no matter what, you're going to elevate the situation. But it's not a given. I want you to also notice that I said offer to solve their problem versus ask them for the sale. We talked at the very beginning about the fact that most of you get choked up when it's time to sell something, right? So you're all good in the conversation. You're laughing, you're joking. Oh, we could do this. And what about purple streamers and purple uplighting and everything purple? And then you get to the point of the conversation where now you have to talk about money and your energy changes. You all of a sudden, all of your confidence evaporates like Casper the Friendly Ghost. And you're left there like, what am I doing here, right? Because you're so afraid to sell. Although it is as honorable to sell as it is to buy, if you focus on offering to solve their problem. And it could be a question as simple as this. I understand that what you want to happen is A, and what you need in order to make A happen is B, C, and D. Did I get that correct? Would you like my help? What I'd like to do now is to talk to you about some of the options that we have to be able to make this happen. This afternoon, I'm going to talk about how you want to give them options. Because if you only show up with one thing, it's a take it or leave it, right? And how many of you know they leave it more than they take it? Right? Another important thing is that you have to detach from the outcome. You can't show up saying, I'm going to get this sale. Because if you show up saying, I'm going to get this sale, you're going to forget to tune into their frequency. You're going to forget to make them feel like they're the most important person and you know exactly what it is that they need in order to experience the event of their dreams. You have to fully detach. If you don't fully detach, you might experience something like I experienced with my dog Latte. Isn't she cute? She's so cute. She's my little ride or die dog. But she does one thing that I don't like very much. Anybody have a dog? Your dog might do this too. So when I'm eating, I'm up at the breakfast nook and I'm eating whatever. She's sitting down and she's perched. She doesn't beg, because I trained her not to beg, but she's sitting there and she's waiting for a crumb. She's looking pretty desperate. And if you don't detach from the outcome and know that regardless of whether they choose you, you are the best, and you have served them and you've offered them a viable option in order to have the most amazing event experience ever, you're going to look like Latte. Well, maybe not as cute. But you're going to look like her. You're going to look desperate. You're going to look like you're waiting for a crumb, and paying your bills depends on it. Now, it is quite possible that paying your bills does depend on it. I've been there, done that, and got that T-shirt. But in this moment, in that sales conversation, you don't want to look as if your next meal is contingent upon them. They can read your energy. They can feel that that's what's happening. And even if they want to hire you, they won't. You guys ever heard that people only buy when they know you, like you, and trust you? If you're Latte, They know you. Liking you is questionable, but they're not going to trust you. And that means that they're not going to help you to get paid in full. Now, if you've done this correctly and you've followed the steps as I've laid them out to you, it's quite possible that you're not going to get a yes in the conversation, that they're going to need to go and think about it. Has that ever happened to anyone? Right? They need to think about it. Now, them saying they need to think about it is not their way of blowing you off. It's because they do literally need to think about it. Sometimes, and hopefully if you get this right, what it costs to bring you in the world-class expertise, DJ, entertainment phenom that you are, it's going to cost a couple of dollars. And I need to go move some things around to figure out how I'm going to add this in because I didn't budget for this. I have my entire event budget, but I wasn't expecting entertainment to cost this much. Not that it's not worth it, not that I don't see the value, but I just need to move some things around. That is possible to happen. I know when I raise my rates, I stop closing people in the first conversation. If you are closing people in the first conversation, 9 times out of 10, you're not charging enough. That was just a little bonus sidebar for you. Yeah. If they are quick to say, oh my gosh, let me take it now, it's because they're really thinking this is a fool, and before they realize they're a fool, let me hurry up and sign these papers, and they change their mind. Right? So, because most people aren't going to sign up in the first conversation, you're going to need to follow up. That's where the fortune is. How many of you have followed up in the past with a potential client? And, they didn't return your calls, and, you just eventually said, man, forget them. I'm just going to go find somebody else. How many of you did that? Can I encourage you not to do that? I want to tell you a story about one of my clients. Her name is Tish Times. When I first met her, she lived in El Paso, Texas. Today she lives in Phoenix. Somebody from El Paso? Today she lives in Phoenix. And so Tish and I had a sales conversation much like the one I was describing to you today, except for although I'm a DJ, I wasn't going to offer her DJ services. And you guys are so tough. That was like my Mac Daddy vibe I was sending you. So anyway. So we had a conversation. She was excited. She was like, yes, I'm going to hire you. And then we talked about the investment, right? Yeah, and say investment, not price, because they're making an investment, right? So we talked about the investment, and all of a sudden, she was all Arnold Drummond, what you talking about, Willis? And she wasn't ready to move forward. And so she said, well, can you follow up with me? Can you touch base with me in a week? I did. She didn't answer. A week turned into a month. A month turned into a quarter. And before I knew it, 6 months had gone by. And I thought, like many of you think, man, forget Tish Times. She ain't all that anyway. She don't need to be my client. I don't know who she thinks she is. I'm the one who grows business. I ain't going to be chasing her around. Got all up in my ego. And then something said, keep following up, keep following up. Do you know a year went by before she actually signed up to work with me? A whole year. But today, we've been working together for 2 years. And when she first signed up, 2 months into signing up, I made her a 6-figure business 2 months in. You know what she said? Man, I shouldn't have dodged you for a year. But I kept following up because this is your business. It's not their responsibility. I know they're going to say, I'll call you. But you know that life is going to happen to them. They're trying to plan an event, right? So it's your responsibility to follow up with them. So we've been working together for 2 years, and she's brought about $60,000 into my business. If I hadn't have followed up, I would have left $60,000 on the table. How much money are you leaving on the table? Because you're not following up. So I want to really encourage you to make sure that you really, really follow up. So everybody stand up for me. If you think I'm cute, keep standing. Nobody better sit down. We was going to fight up in here if y'all. No. If you had fun, if you felt like I made you laugh, keep standing. If you felt like I shared something with you that gives you a new perspective on how you need to position yourself in a sales conversation, I want you to keep standing. Wow, give yourselves a round of applause. Everybody's still standing up. If you know that while this was the tip of the iceberg, you need more, I want you to keep standing. So on your tables, we gave you a gift, right? We gave you an option to get a gift from us. So I have a free CD. It's called 7 Critical Mistakes. You guys can sit down. I should just torture you and make you keep standing and try to write while you're standing up. It's called 7 Critical Mistakes that even smart entrepreneurs like you must avoid for clients, connection, and cash flow. Has anybody ever heard the phrase, put your foot in it? And they're usually talking about food, right? Which is kind of nasty when you think about somebody putting their foot in your food, right? But it just means it's really good, right? So I put my foot in this CD. And I created this CD because I personally am sick and tired of the statistics around business owners. So according to the Small Business Administration here in the United States, there are 28 million small businesses. 22 million of those small businesses are what they call solopreneurs. People like you and I who primarily work for ourselves, we don't have employees, or we have, less than 5 employees, right? And do you know that roughly 89.19% of that 22 million businesses does not make even $100,000 a year in gross receipts? Does that piss anybody else off? It pisses me off. It should piss you off if you're one of those people who aren't making $100,000 a year. Because it's very hard to just live life. And I'm not even talking about the good life if you're not making great money, especially if you have families and you have responsibilities. And trust me, I've been there. The very first year of my business, 2008, I made $20,000. Actually, I made a little bit less than that, but it just sounds better to round up. It was a really, really bad year. It was tough. It was because I didn't know what I didn't know. I was making all of the mistakes that I referenced on this CD. And it was costing me everything. I almost lost my house, had to file bankruptcy. I had to eat ramen noodles and peanut butter and jelly every single day for 18 months. Now, I used to like ramen noodles. On a good day, I would put broccoli in them. I would, hook it up. Cheese. So, look, somebody that had some ramen noodles with some cheese in it. Told you I was from, where I was from. Anyway. But when you have to do it for 18 months because you don't know what you're doing in your business and you're not making money and your cash has run out, it gets a little old. So over the last 7 years, I perfected the mistakes that I made in that very first year. And now I want to teach business owners just like you how to avoid those mistakes so we can shorten your learning curve. I don't want it to have to take you 7 years to have a 7-figure business if that's your desire. I want to help you to be able to do it in 2 years, 3 years. And so this is my gift to you. Now there's a catch. We only brought 200 with us. I'm not sure how many people are in this room. So if you're not one of the first 200 that bombard us when we're done, but just make a nice line. We have on heels after all. Then we'll send it to you in the mail. We'll still get you the CD, but we only brought 200 with us. Because I came from Delaware, and I just didn't really want to have to carry all of that stuff, right? Can I get a pass for that? But we'll send it to you in the event that you really want it. Is there anybody here have a birthday today? Tomorrow? Who has a birthday tomorrow? 2 people have a birthday tomorrow? Do you really? You put your hand up real late. Do you really have a birthday tomorrow? I want to see your driver's license. I think he just thinks that I might be about to give something away and he try and get in on it. We're going to have to check your government-issued driver's license at the back. So I have two people who have a birthday tomorrow, so I want to give you a present. I want to give you my latest book. It's called Market Like a Rock Star. You like that, right? For the DJs. In this book, I share my very simple yet very effective marketing sequence, campaign, and strategy. If you do it, you will be getting paid in full like nobody's business. So the two of you, when you show me your government-issued ID so I can verify, we'll give you a copy and I'll sign it. Anybody else, we have some of these with us if you'd like to get a copy to take with you. This afternoon, I'm going to be at 1 o'clock. I don't know what room I'm in. Sunset, maybe? Sunset 1. I'm going to be going deeper on what we talked about here today. I'm going to be talking specifically about how to create your packages, how to focus in and set your prices, and how to close the sale more often, how to have an effective sales conversation. I'm going to give you some of my favorite scripts. I'm even going to offer you some templates that we'll email to you so that you'll be able to have them to use in order to be able to see the needle really move in your business. Could anybody get excited about that? So again, I think we have somewhere between 10 to 15 seats available. If you slide me a little something, I might see if I can fit you in if we get the demand. But I would love to have as many of you who really want to go deeper with this information hang out with us this afternoon. We're going to be there for 2 hours, and we're really going to go deep. I'm even going to have time to do a business makeover. Now, I do these business makeovers. They're like 15 minutes, and what I do in 15 minutes will make you want to smack your mama. I'm just saying. So if you want to see it, I mean, you can just smack your mama if you want. I don't recommend it. But, I mean, if you want to experience the business makeover, then 1 o'clock you'll want to come and hang out to us. And here's the most important thing. You're going to get a chance to practice. Did you know that when you learn information, if you don't practice within 24 hours, you lose it? And practice equals paid. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to really practice what we talked about here today. So as I prepare to leave you, I want to leave you with a story and a thought. So I want to talk to you about my first time. I was waiting for you little nasty geezers to do that. I'm talking about the first time I got paid in full. So I was having a sales conversation with a client, a small business owner client, talking to them about the possibility of helping them to shift their messaging and their marketing and create sales campaigns and funnels so that they could take their business to the next level. The company was probably doing about $800,000 when we had this conversation, but they really wanted to grow to $3 million in the next 18 months. So I sat down and I had the conversation with them. I did everything I told you to do. I sought first to understand. I really listened. I found out what the challenges were and what was preventing them from going to the next level. I painted a scenario for them of what it would be like if we worked together. And I even, in the conversation, while on their frequency, helped them to see the value that I bring to the table. And when I left that conversation, I had a check for $54,000. I'm talking about paid in full, not a payment option, and you're crossing your fingers and hoping that the check is going to cash. Paid in full. I want you to close your eyes for a moment. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. I want you to think about what it would be like to get paid in full. What would be the first thing that you would do? What would you do to celebrate the fact that you had gotten paid in full? Because you know you have to do something to celebrate yourself, right? What would you do to celebrate? How would you feel? How would you look at your business? How would you feel about what you bring to the table? Can you hold that feeling? You have it? Does it feel good? Does it feel incredible? Think about the check. Like, literally visualize the check. $15,000, $25,000, $50,000, $100,000 paid in full. Right now you have it. It's yours. That nest egg that you've been building, you're going to get to add a little bit more to that. Those quality team members that you need to really pull this off, you're going to be able to hire them and pay them what they deserve to participate in the team for you. Does that feel good? How many of you want to hold on to this feeling? Let me see your hand. Just slip your hands in the air. Awesome. So as we prepare to close, one last story, and then you guys are going to, those of you who are ready to get paid in full, you're going to come and see us. We're going to have your CD. We have books. You're going to go get registered for the class this afternoon. Don't be out there fighting because there's only 15 seats. Like I said, slide me a little something, and then I'll, I just like to keep saying it. Okay, so one last story. You guys can open your eyes if you haven't done so already. This is actually more of a thought. It's an adaptation from a poem. I never say the poem right. That's why it's an adaptation. It's the Darnyelle version. The poem was written by a French poet, and it's called Come to the Edge. Come to the edge, he said. We can't. It's too far, they responded. Come to the edge, he said again. But we're afraid. Come to the edge, he bellowed. They reluctantly came to the edge. He pushed them, and they flew. I believe that you can fly. I believe that you can build a business that pays you in full. I believe that you can create that studio and the home edition that you desire. And my name is Darnyelle Jervey, and I would love an opportunity to help you. Thank you.